Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you really questioned something? Not just scrolled past it or clicked like, but actually stopped and thought deeply about it. Most people can't remember, and that's a big problem. We live in a world where people don't question things anymore. They just believe what they're told. They follow trends without thinking. They worship celebrities and leaders like gods. And they never ask, is this actually true? This is called the death of critical thinking. And it's happening right now, all around us. Today I'm going to show you why this is so dangerous. And trust me, what I'm about to tell you might shock you. But before we start, hit that subscribe button and leave a like. Share this video with anyone who still thinks for themselves, because what you're about to learn could change everything. Let's dive in. Critical thinking means using your brain to question things. It means you don't just accept what people say. You ask why, you look for proof, and you think it through. But most people don't do that anymore. They just repeat what they hear on social media. They trust influencers more than facts. They follow political leaders like fans follow rock stars. So what went wrong? The answer is simple. We stopped teaching people how to think. We started teaching them what to think instead. Schools don't encourage questions anymore. They just want you to memorize answers and pass tests. Nobody teaches you to challenge ideas. Nobody shows you how to think for yourself. And when you grow up without that skill, you become easy to control. Think about it for a second. How many of your beliefs are really yours? And how many did you just copy from someone else? That's the first problem. Now let me tell you about the second problem. It's called idolatry. Idolatry means worshiping something or someone without question. In the old days, people worshipped statues and kings. Today, we worship celebrities, brands, and political parties. We treat them like they can do no wrong. We defend them even when the facts say otherwise. This is dangerous. Because when you worship someone, you stop thinking clearly. You ignore evidence that goes against them. You attack anyone who disagrees. And you give up your freedom to think for yourself. Let me give you an example. Think about your favorite celebrity or leader. Now imagine someone shows you proof that they did something bad. Would you believe it, or would you defend them anyway? Most people would defend them, not because the proof is wrong, but because they've made that person an idol. And idols don't need facts. They just need followers. This is how critical thinking dies. People stop caring about truth. They only care about loyalty. Now here's where it gets worse. There are systems in place that use this against you. Politicians use it to win votes. Companies use it to sell products. Media uses it to get clicks. They all know one thing: a person who doesn't think is easy to control. So they keep you distracted. They keep you emotional. They keep you reacting instead of thinking, and you don't even realize it's happening. Let me explain how this works. Your brain is built to look for simple answers. It wants to feel safe and certain, so when life gets complicated, your brain looks for shortcuts. It finds a leader to follow, it finds a group to join, it finds an idea to believe in. And once it finds that, it stops questioning. Because questioning feels uncomfortable. It feels scary. It means you might be wrong. So most people just avoid it. They let others do the thinking for them. And that's exactly what the system wants. Let me ask you something. Have you ever changed your mind about something important? Or do you just stick to the same opinions you've always had? Most people never change their minds, not because they're always right, but because they've stopped thinking. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is one of the biggest killers of critical thinking. When you're afraid, you look for safety. You look for someone to protect you. You look for simple answers that make you feel better. And leaders know this. Throughout history, leaders have used fear to control people. They say, "Follow me and I'll keep you safe." They say, "Trust me and you won't have to worry." And people believe them. Not because it's true, but because they're too scared to think clearly. This is how entire societies lose their freedom. Not through force, but through fear and ignorance. Think about the world right now. How much of what you believe is based on fear? How much of it is based on real thinking? Be honest with yourself, because that honesty is the first step to freedom. Now let me tell you about social media. Social media has made this problem 10 times worse. It's designed to keep you hooked. Every notification, every like, every comment gives you a little reward. Your brain gets addicted to it. And while you're scrolling, you're not thinking. You're just consuming. You see a headline, you react. You see a post, you share it. You don't stop to ask, is this true? You just keep scrolling. And the algorithm loves this. Because the algorithm doesn't care about truth. It cares about engagement. It shows you things that make you angry or excited. It shows you things that confirm what you already believe. It never shows you things that challenge you. So you stay in a bubble. You only see one side of every story. And you think you're informed. But really, you're just being programmed. Here's the scary part. You don't even know it's happening. Because it feels normal. It feels like you're just keeping up with the world. But in reality, you're letting a machine do your thinking for you. And that machine is controlled by people who profit from your ignorance. So what's the solution? How do you fight back against this? First, you have to wake up. You have to admit that you've been letting others think for you. That's hard to do. Because it means admitting you were wrong. But it's the only way to get your freedom back. Second, you have to start questioning everything. Don't just believe what you see on your feed. Don't just trust what your favorite influencer says. Ask yourself, where is the proof? Ask yourself, who benefits if I believe this? Third, you have to stop worshiping people. No celebrity, no politician, no leader is perfect. They're all just human, and humans make mistakes. When you treat someone like an idol, you stop seeing their mistakes. And that makes you blind. Fourth, you have to get uncomfortable. Real thinking is not easy. It's not fun. It means sitting with doubt. It means accepting that you don't have all the answers. But that's okay. Because doubt is where growth happens. Fifth, you have to disconnect sometimes. Put the phone down. Turn off the news. Sit in silence and just think. Your brain needs space to process things. It can't do that when it's constantly being flooded with information. Now here's the most important part. Critical thinking is not just about being smart. It's about being free. When you think for yourself, nobody can control you. You can't be manipulated. You can't be fooled. You become a threat to the system. Because the system needs people who don't think. It needs people who just obey. But when you refuse to obey, everything changes. You start seeing the world as it really is, not as you've been told it is. And that's powerful. History is full of people who thought for themselves, people like Socrates who questioned everything, people like Galileo who challenged the church, people like Martin Luther King Jr. who stood up for truth. They all faced punishment for thinking differently, but they didn't stop. Because they knew that freedom is worth fighting for, and that same fight is happening today. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can keep following the crowd. You can keep worshiping idols. You can keep letting fear and ignorance control you. Or you can choose to think. You can choose to question. You can choose to be free. It won't be easy. People will call you difficult. They'll say you're overthinking things. They'll try to pull you back into the crowd, but don't listen to them because they're still asleep and you're finally awake. Let me tell you something powerful. The moment you start thinking for yourself, you become dangerous. Not in a violent way, but in a way that threatens the system. Because a thinking person asks questions. A thinking person demands truth. A thinking person refuses to be controlled. And that's exactly what the world needs right now. We need more people who think, more people who question, more people who refuse to bow down to idols. So here's my challenge to you. After this video ends, don't just scroll to the next one. Sit for a few minutes and think. Think about your beliefs. Think about who you follow. Think about whether you're really free. And if you realize you're not, decide to change it. Write in the comments one thing you're going to start questioning more, one belief you're going to examine, one idol you're going to stop worshiping. Because your choice to think could inspire someone else to do the same. And together, we can bring critical thinking back to life. The death of critical thinking is not permanent. It only dies when we let it die. But as long as there are people willing to think, it can come back. And it starts with you. So make the choice today. Choose truth over comfort. Choose freedom over fear. Choose thinking over following. Because in the end, the only thing that can save us is our ability to think clearly. And that ability is still inside you. You just have to use it. If this message spoke to you, like this video and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because the world doesn't need more followers, it needs more thinkers. And that can be you. Thanks for watching.